shopgear.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Look, you want the truth? Okay, then listen in. My first link was
This is the Listen In Podcast with your hosts, John Cimino and Brandon Gorell, here on the Gear Radio Network.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? We are the Listen In Podcast on the Gear Radio Network. We can be heard on not on iTunes anymore because it's Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitch, Spotify, wherever fine podcasts can be heard. My name is John Cimino.
Or OK Podcasts.
Or OK Podcasts.
Yeah, you can hear OK Podcasts on there too.
All right. Well, you know me. I'm John Cimino at DJC Money on the Twitter. And over there, TV's Mr. Brandon Gorell. Brandon, say hello.
Hey.
Uncle Muscles, as he is known today.
Yeah, over in Studio B.
Studio B. I'm in Studio A. He's in Studio B. We're gonna get more. We'll get more Studio B sessions, Studio A sessions. Person to person. There's right now we got a lot going on. Of course, it's summertime and preseason, and there's not a whole lot going on. But anyways, we are going to be presented commercial free thanks to your purchases through Amazon. We had a very, very, very big month, a very big July, and we thank you for that. And always, it's the dog days of summer, ladies and gentlemen, and school's coming. You can do all your school shopping, have everything delivered right to your front door or your side door or your back door, wherever you see fit. I know I've ordered school supplies, and I'm having them delivered tomorrow. It's going to be great. Shopgear.com. It is your friend for all of that, and a free 30-day trial of Prime. On today's show.
You're very lucky, because my kids make me go to the store.
They make you go to the store?
Yeah, they want to see the school supplies in their hands and
hell
pick out colors.
With that.
Yeah, it's
hell with that. Hell with that. I'm totally good. Like a notebook, like to me, a notebook's a notebook. A notebook's a notebook. Pencils are pencils. Just give me the list. I'll order the damn thing. I'll have it delivered here, and then they could play with it when they open the box.
Yeah.
So, whatever. But anyways, shopgear.com. It is your friend. On today's show, Antonio Brown and the Raiders in the news again. Clearly, it's a very, very slow preseason news cycle, but Antonio Brown, Mr. Big Chest, has some feet and helmet issues. We'll talk a little bit about that. The Dallas Cowboys are in the news as well. That's how effing slow it is. I've got Cowboys news as the second bullet point here. And if you listen to the last BLTD podcast, you got to hear about how much I despise the Cowboys. But we're going to talk about the Cowboys. and that's really
kind of universal. Unless you're a Dallas fan,
mm-hmm.
You hate Dallas.
Yes, exactly. All right. So
the one thing this country can unite around, actually.
Well, yes.
We're all kind of like in agreeal. Like if you don't like the Cowboys, you just don't like them.
Yes.
There's no
Cowboys. I like to equate the Dallas Cowboys to Caillou. Everybody hates Caillou. Caillou,
yeah.
that little shit Caillou. Nobody likes Caillou. Dallas Cowboys is very much the same thing. It's like a freaking team of Cailloux.
No,
with Luis Perez as their cheerleader. I'm kidding.
Man, what's wrong with Caillou?
No, I think he hates Caillou too. By the way, I should mention because I don't believe Perez has mentioned it on BLTD or Project Transformation. He was actually a voice. He got some voiceover work for a upcoming animated movie. Very excited to actually see that. He recorded all the parts. They just showed him his character, like the character he's voicing over, and they even added a cigar to it because of him. So it's pretty cool. We were talking a little bit about it the other day, so I can't wait to see that. But maybe I'll have him on TJCMS and we can talk about that here. But Brandon, right now, you and I, my man, on Listen In here, we are talking about Antonio Brown, and we had a long conversation about Antonio Brown when we reformatted to Listen In a few months ago. And he was doing all that crazy crap in Pittsburgh, trying to get out of there. And you had mentioned that it was kind of a show, and he got what he wanted, and he's going to come to Oakland and ball out and, be ready to play and all that stuff. Well, my friend,
I still think he is. It's still a show.
Now, I'm going to start
preseason.
I'm going to start with the helmet issue because after I finished writing about the foot issue and all that type of stuff, I happened to see an article where Antonio Brown was catching passes on the sideline, on the field before the game tonight. So I don't know what the deal is with that. And people are saying he actually looked like he was fine. I can't imagine he's running routes super hard or whatever.
No,
and ready for game. But he might be farther along than most people think. But anyways, so to condense the story a bit, Antonio Brown, for those that don't know, news came out that he was talking about possibly sitting out and not playing for the Raiders. And when probed about what the issue was, it wasn't necessarily, it wasn't about his pay or that he wanted to be traded or anything like that. It was about a specific helmet that he was using. Yeah. It was a helmet that was discontinued. That particular brand was discontinued by the company itself in 2011, and the NFL, stopped testing those kind of helmets. And it was popular for a while, but basically he's holding on to a helmet that is old, and the NFL no longer cares to test and see if it's up to their standards in the current day. Now, he was, more or less saying he doesn't want to play if he's not wearing it. He doesn't want to wear his new helmet. It's no longer certified for use by the NFL. So now he had to move to a new approved model for the upcoming season. He wasn't really interested in doing that. So he was very insistent. He filed a grievance against the NFL, said he was willing to retire, all sorts of wacky things. And then the NFL basically said, sorry, pal, this is the way it is. And now he's like, okay with it. But, then we go from that.
Didn't he find like a helmet that was within that age range?
Let's see.
I
don't.
Changing, so
I don't have that. I don't have that in my notes. But either way, the issue is resolved. But then you go from the tumultuous exit in Pittsburgh to his arrival in Oakland, and then you have this, and then you have the foot issue, which was cryotherapy gone wrong. Now, for those of you that don't know what cryotherapy is, I'm going to explain it to you. It's cold therapy. It's a technique where the body is exposed to extremely cold temperatures for several minutes. Cryotherapy can be delivered to just one area, or you can opt for whole body cryotherapy. Localized cryotherapy can be administered in a number of ways, including through ice packs, ice massage, coolant sprays, ice baths, and even through probes administered into tissue. Now, the cryotherapy, I mean, it's only a few minutes, but the body is put into cold temperatures down between negative 200 and 300 degrees Fahrenheit. They stay there between 2 and 4 minutes, and the benefits to that is, pain relief and helps with nerves and all that kind of stuff or whatever. But Antonio Brown went into this thing. He flew to France for it. And he went into this chamber, but he didn't cover his feet. So the bottom of his feet got
destroyed,
frostbitten, completely destroyed, frostbitten trench foot, where, trench foot, your feet become numb and discolored with blistering and dead skin falling out. I mean, you saw the pictures. It was freaking, you couldn't not see it because it was all over the freaking social media sites, and it was disgusting. And I was like, oh, that's nasty. But as of right now, there's no real timetable for his return. But I ask you this to kind of
week one will be his return.
You think he'll be back week one from
I do.
Frostbite? Okay. What is? Do you think this is all a smoke show just for Hard Knocks, or is this Antonio Brown thing? Is this the real Antonio Brown? All of this sideshow crap that's going on, and
he's
then
an entertainer.
Well, yes, but I don't recall him being this out there with Pittsburgh. So what's the deal with?
I don't know what's so out there though. He's pissed he doesn't want to wear this helmet. Other guys have said, well, I don't like it. Like Tom Brady, I don't like it, but I'll have to do it because rules are rules, and he'll deal with it and he'll suck it up. But Antonio Brown, some guys have superstitions. Some guys are like, listen, I mean, guys have made bigger stinks about the color of the cleats that they wear, or, different things like they like find me every week. Like, go ahead, find me. Like, so, I mean, I don't think that this is that big of a deal with the helmet thing. I mean, and again, the feet thing, that's a freak fucking accident, man. Like, you just don't think sometimes, and stupid shit happens. And like, being in there without shoes on, that's going to fuck your feet up. I mean, that's just the way it goes. I don't know. I think more of this is just being made of it because of who Antonio Brown is. Antonio, we have a preseason that nobody gives a shit about.
Right.
Every year, the only thing that people are interested in seeing is their brand new draft pick going out there and playing a few plays and seeing if they're, in good hands for the upcoming season. Other than that, they don't give a shit. So, we need things to write about, and he is providing them. He's on a TV show with Hard Knocks.
Right.
So I think a lot of this gets conflated. Like, if it's during the regular season, he's probably already going to wear his helmet. He's going to have no choice by then anyways. I don't think that anything's made of it. Like, they'll just look at his foot and be like, fuck, his foot's fucked up. Like, they wouldn't care. But since it's Antonio Brown, like any other player, like, it would be like, all right, like Devontae Adams went into the cryptotherapy thing and he got frostbite on his feet. He's going to be out. And it would be nothing beyond that. But I think it's more.
Devontae Adams doesn't have a history of.
Yeah, but the history.
putting on a sideshow.
Yeah, but the sideshow happened last offseason. Because he didn't want to be in Pittsburgh anymore.
Yes, but it was also, but it was stretched out, and it was rather. I mean, it was rather comical, but in the same.
He got out of Pittsburgh, and he got out of Pittsburgh, and he was doing and saying all the right things, and then the NFL came at him and says, "Hey, you got to wear a new helmet." And he's like, "Well, I don't want to wear a new helmet. I like the helmet I have." And they're like, "Well, no, you've got to wear a new one because it's the rules." Some people don't take too kind to that shit. Some people get bothered by it. It's their equipment. Like, guys are very regimented. They're very superstitious. You get into a comfort zone. You've been doing something for 10 years as an NFL player and you're excelling for 10 years as an NFL player. You're going to be like, hey,
I would think that I would have
my shit.
I would have thought, and I'm not an athlete, a professional athlete. I don't really know what
Rodgers
goes.
Complained about him too. He doesn't like them. He says they're not comfortable. They're kind of
the newer helmets.
The new helmets.
I guess what I don't understand is, like, do they strip the padding on the inside of it and put the padding back in on that? Like, I would think that everything gets worn out in time
with gel infusion, and there's air pockets. It's supposed to be more safe.
The newer helmets, right?
Yeah, the new helmet.
No, I'm talking about his older helmet though. Like, do they replace the padding in those older helmets every year or whatever? Like, I would imagine
they get
over the course of
these helmets. They get a bunch of these helmets.
Right, but if he's wearing the same one for the
past 10 years. He's not wearing the same one. He's wearing the same model for the last 10 years.
So
they're saying he can't have that model anymore. There's thousands of them that were produced, but they have to be after a certain date because they can't be they have to be within the 10-year, and they stopped making them like in 2009, 2010. 11. So 2011. Well, they stopped making them in 2010. They still produced some, like they were not making them anymore, like new ones. Like they weren't upgrading them. They were still selling them as of 2011.
Okay.
But they weren't creating them. They weren't used in 2011, so they're allowed to be, that's within the 10-year limit. So he wants ones that are in 2011 because he can do this year and he can do it next year.
Okay.
But it has to be within that 10-year limit window for the NFL.
Right. Okay.
So that's the loophole. And he's found a couple that were 2010, so they can at least get through them with this season. But they have multiple helmets, so they just keep changing them out. It's not the same helmet. I mean, Antonio Brown's in uniform tonight, so it's not like he's out here and he's not going to play. He's going to be here week one. I just think nobody wants to play in the preseason, especially week 3 and 4. Because nobody's playing in those. Well,
weeks. Week three is the closest. Is the unofficial dress rehearsal, and that's when you typically see the first team starters, go into the third quarter. Today, for example, I was watching the Jets. I watched the Jets week 1 of the preseason. The first team offense was out there. drove down the field, score a touchdown. They were done week 1, right there after that first drive.
Right.
This year, the first team offense played about a quarter and a half.
Okay.
Next week, I'm expecting that the first team is going to play 2.5 quarters, possibly all 3 quarters. And I recall, really noticing this a few years ago when Drew Brees was out in the third quarter. I'm like, what the hell's he doing out there in the third quarter?
I don't know. I've never seen Rodgers go in past the first series of the second quarter. So,
well, yes, but Rodgers is a little bit of a different. I don't want to say Rodgers is a little bit of a different story. Everybody plays differently, but Drew Brees, he loves the field, and I think if you told Drew Brees to play in the fourth preseason game, he'd probably do it. He'd probably do it. He loves, I don't know why, but he probably would because he loves football that much. But not saying that Aaron Rodgers doesn't love football, because he obviously does, but he's a different kind of cat. He's just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I know I'm good. I know I can throw on one leg and whatever. Whereas Breeze always kind of had that chip on his shoulder because of his size and everything. And maybe he's like an older Steve Smith, Steve Smith always had that. Steve Smith was short and always had that chip on his shoulder, and he knew he was good enough, but he didn't have to play, this game or that game or whatever. But he was like, no, I'm suiting up and I'm going to prove all you MFers wrong. Right. And that's that. That's the kind of player Drew Brees is. But to the point about the week 3 of the preseason, that's the dress rehearsal. So, but with the foot injury, given the severity or given what it looked like and what the potential severity is, I don't expect Antonio Brown to play this preseason at all. But they were talking.
I mean, he was out there in full uniform and pads tonight. I mean, I just saw him on the sideline. It's going into the half. He's over there joking around with teammates and smiling. He looks happy. Mm-hmm. Teammates seem to like him. He was in full uniform. I think it's blown out of proportion. I think it's more than, I think that how sometimes like someone becomes a whipping boy,
mm-hmm.
like every time somebody even breathes at some point where like there's a story written about it and everyone's looking for a story and everyone's like, I don't know. I'm like, it's kind of like how Conor McGregor is now. Like every time he moves around, someone's got a camera in his face trying to bait him into something, and he's been falling for it.
Right.
There's certain people that they know are going to get a story. They're going to get a reaction. If they target that, they're going to get something. They're going to get clicks. They're going to get information. Again, if this was anybody else in the league, nobody would give two shits.
That's fair.
The fact that, he left unceremoniously out of Pittsburgh, a market that really liked having him there, fan base that's really strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's an organization that is looked upon favorably by those in the media and, those around the NFL. He forced his way out of there because he didn't want to play with Roethlisberger anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He could say all the things he wants. I know he doesn't want to play with that piece of shit.
He called him fat. He called him fat Brock Osweiler.
Right. And I think
I'm sorry. That's still funny to me.
I think he's a shitty quarterback. I think he's overrated. I think he's a turnover machine, especially the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
And Brown has made him look better than he actually is. Guy just throws balls up there and he just blows by everybody to go get it. But if he's not open, chances are it's incomplete or a turnover.
True.
So, he got out and, he went crazy with the blonde hair and the Mr. Big Chest stuff. And he went to the Raiders, and listen, going to the Raiders, always going to be looked at as a fucking shit show.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders are always a saga, no matter who's there, what player it is, it does not matter. Like none of it matters.
Right.
So to be honest, like, I think it's a combination of everything.
Well, I'll tell you what, the one thing about the Raiders,
I don't think that there's really anything really wrong with the guy. I think he's fine. I think his injury is going to heal up, and I think he's going to play just fine.
All right. Well, the one thing about the Raiders that I'm looking forward to seeing, and we'll see how this develops over time, is John Gruden now going gaga over Nate Pete So
Nate Pete's not going anywhere. He's going to be a fucking third string quarterback.
Speaking of Oakland Raiders quarterbacks, though, Brandon, there was breaking news announced earlier today on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Former Oakland Raiders quarterback, mind you, he was signed on March 26th of this year, and then cut on May 27th or May 22nd. But he's still former Oakland Raiders quarterback. Landry Jones has signed with the XFL and is scheduled to play in 2020. He is the first player to sign with the league and will be assigned to the team as part of the league's allocation and draft process, Brandon, in October of this year. Are you excited for the XFL draft and Landry Jones?
No, nope.
In 3 seasons, Brandon, Landry Jones has thrown for 8 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
Yeah, he played for the friggin' Steelers for a while too.
Mm-hmm. He did, and in fact, he started a playoff game for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah,
and he threw an interception and had an 8.3 quarterback rating. So, good luck, Landry Jones. Good on you signing for the XFL, and you'll play for, I don't know, St. Louis or something. But anyways, onto the next topic of conversation. Those Dallas Cowboys, Brandon. So since we've last spoken in podcast form, we talked about Ezekiel Elliott and, his holding out and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you and I universally agreed on the fact that Ezekiel Elliott is 90% of Dallas's offense.
I agree. And this is where I want to say that when the media chooses somebody to pile on, they do it. Ezekiel Elliott has been in multiple incidents off the field. He dresses like a fucking Gomer. He's holding out, and yet crickets.
Here,
every now and then we try to get an update on his contract demands. He's got 2 years left on his rookie contract. Not 1 year. He's got 2.
He's got 1 year with the 5th year option. This would have been the final year of his rookie contract, the 4-year rookie contract. But in all likelihood, they would have given done the 5th year option, which would have been a slight raise. But either way, you're talking with Ezekiel Elliott. You're talking about a guy that in less than 3 full seasons, is approaching 5,000 yards, career rushing yards in his rookie deal. And it took me to the last podcast when we were talking about this news and everything to really fully grasp how important Ezekiel Elliott is to that team. Now, Dak Prescott, on the other hand, he's entering the final year of his rookie contract this year, the 4th year, and he's looking to get paid some big bucks. But he's not looking to get a hometown discount. Reports on Monday came out that Dak Prescott, whom has been reliable and has started every game for the past 3 seasons, but is 1-2 in the playoffs, had turned down a $30 million a year deal and instead asked for $40 million, which would make him the highest quarterback in the league. The first question I have for you, Brandon, you and I both agree that Dak is by all means not a $40 million man. But is he good enough to be a $30 million man? Was he stupid to turn down that deal?
I think he was dumb to turn down the deal, but at the same time, he's using the quarterback leverage. Nobody wants to give up that player on a holy crap. I just hit my mouse with my elbow and it just highlighted everything and started scrolling like crazy.
Oh,
got a little scared there. I was like, what's going on with my computer?
It's possessed, my man.
Possessed. He's doing it because he knows he has leverage, because most teams do not want to let go of quarterback.
Right.
So the quarterback position, he sees all these guys getting paid a certain salary. So he figures, well, I'd like to get some of that money too. Why should I get paid any less than, anybody else? I think that I'm, worthy of getting that amount of money. And, he hasn't really proven that he is worth all that much, but at the same time, it's still the quarterback position, and he's still efficient.
Well,
he's not
right.
He's not garbage. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He shouldn't be getting Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson money. He's
exactly.
Not
exactly.
But he wants that because he thinks, I have an agent, and I play for the Cowboys, and I'm a quarterback, so I should get that.
He's not a terrible quarterback. You're absolutely right. And I don't hate him as quarterback. I think he's very good. I would take him on my team if I wasn't as high on Sam Darnold as I am. But in the same, I think he's good for 30 to 35.
I think he's a game manager. I don't think he's a game breaker.
Well, I'm talking about in terms of dollars. 30 to 35 seems. I think that's reasonable for him. $40 million is out of the question, in my opinion.
I think 35 is kind of you're out of your fucking mind.
All right. So this leads me to question number 2.
I don't know, man.
Question number 2: should the Cowboys pay him what he's asking, or do they risk letting him walk and maybe pay Zeke and hope to get somebody else either through free agency or the draft?
I mean, neither look like a good option.
Next offseason for the Cowboys is going to be tremendous. I can't wait.
Tremendous right now.
But I can't wait because when things start becoming official.
But if they don't get a deal done with Elliott, he may not even play this season. He might do a Le'Veon Bell and hold out.
And you know what? No matter what I think about his off the field issues and all that weird crap he does,
that plays into it, and I think he needs to own that.
Right, but no matter what I think about that, he is that important to that team. I think he, at his age, with what he's done, is worth the money that he's seeking from that team.
Let's just kind of take a look at the position, though. It is the running back position. He does play behind one of the best lines in the league. Okay?
Right.
I think that you can plug in other running backs.
They tried that. They did Darren McFadden for a little bit.
Darren McFadden is over the hill, though. He's not a new running back. He's not young legs that you draft out of college. He is a over the hill, beat up running back. Running backs have a short shelf life. And I just don't know if you want to pay that much money to a guy and commit that long term to a guy who has now had 3 off the field incidents with the police involved in 2 seasons there. What are you going to keep going back to this guy? What happens if he gets arrested again and he has to do jail time and you've got a guaranteed money that you paid this guy? I mean, a lot of these guys want guaranteed money.
Well, I mean, even before Ezekiel Elliott came there, I mean, they had Alfred Morris too. They had McFadden.
Again,
they had
over the hill. McFadden and Morris are over the hill.
But they weren't over the hill when Morris wasn't over the hill when he got there. He was coming off. He was coming off having a semi decent run in Washington.
A semi decent run is not a feature back.
Well, okay, I say semi decent run because Washington is Washington, but Alfred Morris did break Clinton Portis's records in his rookie year in Washington. That one good year that freaking Robert Griffin III was healthy.
One good year.
Right, but that was during the Shanahan era when RG3 was, healthy.
How long has he been gone? How long has he been gone? RG3 has been gone for a long time, and so is Shanahan.
He's backing up. He's the backup in Washington.
He's been gone as a quarterback for a long time. He is a backup quarterback. He was out of the league for 2 years. That was a long time ago. Alfred Morris.
Okay.
He's 30 years old. 30 years old for a running back is old. They come in at 21, 22 years old. That's 8-9 seasons.
Okay.
For instance, he played for the 49ers last year.
But what I'm saying with those two was Dallas has had an offensive line for several years now. A good offense, a very good offensive line for several years. And
they had a great running back who went to the Tennessee Titans. They didn't pay him, and he did shit there.
Oh, DeMarco Murray, yeah, that's right. That's true.
DeMarco Murray was a goddamn beast there, and then he goes.
Right. So that's another that's
another reason not to pay him.
Okay.
Dallas didn't pay him.
Okay.
He left. He took a big money contract, went to the Tennessee Titans, and did shit.
Right. And now he doesn't even play anymore, I think, does he?
I don't think so.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. The running back position is not what it used to be. It's a position. It's important. You need one. You need actually 2 or 3 in your roster, because chances are one of them are going to go down.
Right.
It's not like it used to be, where guys are running for 2,000 yards. The quarterback is just managing the game, and you can run for, 2,500 yards. There's no more Jamal Lewis's running around anymore. CJ2K had his run for a little bit, and he's gone. Like, those guys, I mean, even look at, Johnson from Arizona. He was hurt last year.
Yeah.
David
Johnson.
Yeah, he's hurt last year. Who knows what he's going to come back as? Le'Veon Bell. I mean, he was playing really well in Pittsburgh, but then again, you have to respect the rest of that game. You have to respect the passing game. You have to respect the out of the backfield game. So there's a lot more holes that way. If you're Dallas and Dak Prescott is throwing the ball well, he's got good receivers, it opens more holes for Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
Especially
in the same, if Ezekiel Elliott's playing like Ezekiel Elliott plays, then that opens it up for Dak Prescott. So one hand washes the other, I think, in this situation.
And I look back at last season. I mean, wasn't Elliott out for a extended period of time last year?
Yes, I think it was like 3 or 4 games on a suspension.
And they did all right.
They ended up doing all right ultimately at the end, yes. But Prescott wasn't lighting it up by any stretch of the imagination. No. I think it was a combination of, well, I mean, Amari Cooper had those good 3 games too. Yeah, so
look what happened when he got a receiver that can actually do something. I mean, his options were Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley, and I don't even remember who the other option was.
Yeah, it wasn't Lucky Whitehead. So what I was going to say was Lucky Whitehead, but no, it was Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley, and
I don't even know who.
Yeah, some schmuck. I have no idea.
Somebody who ended up not playing anymore. I don't know, man. Like, the quarterback position is such an important position. I think running backs, they're great, but they have a shelf life. Ezekiel Elliott has been kind of a clown. He's gotten in the shit. And honestly, he's been there that whole time, and they haven't really moved the needle. I mean, they're basically doing what they do with.
Doesn't matter who.
Right. Romo was quarterback, and this team just seems to underperform. Now they've got this all-world defense, but they've locked up a lot of money in it. And now Jerry Jones is in this position where, like, do I want to let defenders go and play somewhere else? And then sign all these offensive weapons? Because he's tried the offensive route where he paid the money to have the receivers with Des Bryant and, the money that went to Jason Witten and the offensive line and Tony Romo. And it didn't pay off because their defense was so poor. But now he's stacked up the defense, and now the paychecks are due for the offense. And both of these guys are asking for top of the league money. And I don't think they've earned it, to be honest.
All right.
I don't think you can be a rookie and then still in your rookie contract and then come out and demand like top of the league money. Like, you ain't Aaron Rodgers. You ain't Russell Wilson. To quote Clay Matthews, you ain't no Russell Wilson, bro. They're not Drew Brees, but he's not Tom Brady, but yet he's looking for more money than them. I don't think that he's worth that money. I think that it's bullshit that this guy is doing it, but he also knows that he's playing the leverage. It's the quarterback leverage.
Can I just say, in a quick change of subject, I'm really, really, really loving my man Quinnen Williams.
Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah,
he's real good. Anyways, third question about the Cowboys.
And again, back to Ezekiel Elliott too. Like, Zeke's a great player and he can run really well, but he doesn't really break a lot out of the backfield and receiving that much. I don't think he's that great a receiver and a route runner, but you can't let him walk either. So I think that both those guys are putting themselves over team.
Okay.
I really
That's
do.
fair.
I think if you're thinking that you're the quarterback and you should get 40 million per season, and you're the running back and you should get like 25 to 30 per season, that's
If they would have,
out of your salary cap.
if they would have won a Super Bowl or at least gotten to a Super Bowl, I think in that 4-year time,
Right.
there might have been a case for at least one of those. But yeah, to your point, you're very right. Real quick, Luke Falk. As of right now, Luke Falk is in at quarterback now for the Jets.
Yeah.
Brandon, he relieves Davis Webb, who finished 2 of 5 for 10 yards. Preseason football, everybody.
Please, Sam Darnold, stay healthy.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Saying,
oh my God. Yes.
Looking at that, like
if Sam Darnold were to go down with an injury, I'd be putting on my Trust the Podcast T-shirt and my Bills hat and saying "Go Bills." But anyways, real quick, third question here, because Ryan made mention of something that sent me into I don't want to say hysterics or hysteria, but it got a good old fashioned JC rant out on the Cowboys. So Ryan told me that there were some writers, whether they were Dallas beat writers or whatever, national writers or whatever. He's the stat guy, and I wish I had him online to kind of repeat that. But that they were saying that despite all of the, tumultuousness that is the Dallas Cowboys' current state right now and their future state once the Super Bowl is over, that the Cowboys not only are Super Bowl contenders, but Super Bowl favorites. And one of them had them defeating future Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So, Brandon, I ask this already knowing my answer to this, but maybe you can change my mind. The Dallas Cowboys, are they good enough to make a run and win the Super Bowl? And whether or not it's at the expense of future Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes?
Nope.
Thank you.
They barely won a playoff game last year against Seattle. Russell Wilson had one of his worst games, and they won 24-22. But then they got beat by Los Angeles. They've won one playoff game in, like, how long? And we're going to sit here and talk about them winning a Super Bowl? Come on.
Since the year of the infamous catch.
Listen, Mahomes was in the, in the running last year, and he was right up in the top of the league. The Chiefs were right there. The
Chiefs were a blown call away from freaking being in the Super Bowl. Not the Patriots, the Chiefs.
They didn't blow the call. They screwed up. I mean,
yeah, you're right. No. It was the Saints. Sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong championship game.
They lost to New England in overtime
because of a bonehead move.
Because the guy went off sides. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like, I think that the Chiefs are in a much better position than the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have not shown me shit. Like, I don't know, like, what did they go? I don't even remember what their record was last year, to be honest. I know they made the playoffs as they went in and played the wild card game. They played at home. They had a home game at season last year. Yeah, I don't remember.
I can find that. I can find that out in un minuto.
They were 10-6. I got it.
10-6. All right, very good.
10-6.
I was going to consult
in a
Siri.
Very, 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 very poor division. Philadelphia was down. Carson.
The Illa.
Philly rallied towards the end of the year.
Yes, they did.
Giants were god awful.
Oh, well,
the Redskins were also bad and lost their quarterback early in the season, or mid-season, I should say. So,
did you hear? Speaking of the Giants, you hear Eli apparently is, working out pretty good and throwing the ball with a little more zip. Like some of his receivers were commenting on how strong the football, how hard the football was being thrown.
To be fair, the guys that are receiving the balls really haven't received anything from anybody in a long time. They're all like scrubbers and backups because the Giants have lost like every wide receiver that they've had.
Just one of those, and I'm not even saying this particular quarterback in his prime. I would say I would love to see one of those receivers on the Giants right now catch a pass, even from today's version of Brett Favre.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Favre could go fling it.
I mean, in all my years of watching football, both alive and finding, reviewing the historic videos and stuff like that, the old NFL films and stuff like that, there are two things that I can say for, three things that I could say for certain in terms of the quarterback. There was nobody tougher than Johnny Unitas. There was nobody better in my opinion. This is my opinion. Johnny Unitas was the tough. Was $2 tougher than a $2 steak, in the words of Jim Ross. Brett Favre obviously was the next toughest quarterback.
I still think he was the toughest.
But Joe Montana was the greatest, and was the best quarterback. But Brett Favre was the strongest, most durable. Like, I remember hearing a story, and I can't remember who it was. Maybe it might have been Donald Driver that said this. But and you being the resident Packers fan, you can correct me here if he did not say this. But one of the receivers at that time was talking about Brett Favre and how hard he threw the ball. And they said that not only could they hear the whistle of the ball from just the revs in the air from how hard he threw it, they said, but when he caught the ball, it hurt his hands so much that he had a hard time holding on to it and catching it. He ultimately did hold on and catch it to it, but he said he couldn't feel his hands for quite a while because that's how hard.
Well, there was two guys that were like that.
Was Donald Driver one of them, though?
Yeah, no, I'm saying there's two guys with arms like that.
Okay.
The other guy was John Elway. Yes. John Elway threw the ball hard, and they had a thing that was actually a thing that his wide receivers would say. They would call it the Elway cross because it would come in with such velocity, and you'd catch the tip of the ball like on your arm or in your hand, and it would leave a cross mark from the end of the football because that's how hard you threw the damn ball. Elway and Favre, to me, had like the hardest throws. I think the guys would I think Pat Mahomes is right there with him. Mm-hmm. I think Josh Allen has that kind of arm.
For the Gear Network listeners, future Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes.
Oh,
thank you. I'm getting his goddamn jersey, Brandon.
All right, you go ahead and do that. And then when they're marching the Jets out of the playoffs, you can wear that jersey, right?
Well, no, I will wear that jersey after that.
Oh, okay.
Because I'll at least be happy that the Jets got through the playoffs.
Yeah, it's I wore a Peyton Manning jersey because Peyton Manning would play Green Bay like once every 4 years.
Right.
So I wasn't really worried about it, and we didn't get any Super Bowls against them, so that's fine. I don't think I could wear any quarterback's jersey in the same conference as my quarterback. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it.
I don't know.
You're going to be competing. If you get to the playoffs, you're going to play them.
I know, but I don't know.
You would only play them in the Super Bowl.
Maybe it's my advanced age. Maybe it's my,
I got a Tom Brady jersey.
I know you have a Tom Brady jersey, you bastard.
I have a Tom Brady jersey, but if Tom Brady played for the Dallas Cowboys or the Washington Redskins or the New Orleans Saints, I wouldn't have one. I don't have a Drew Brees jersey. Respect the hell out of the guy, but I'm not going to wear his jersey. He's in the NFC.
Yeah, I know.
He is the keeper to the Super Bowl. I would have to play him in a Super Bowl if I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. I want no part of that shit.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't look at it that way. But that's just
maybe because the Jets have not done anything.
That's exactly what it is. If the Jets and the Patriots were flip flop for the last 20 years, I might have a completely different take.
Yeah,
but and Chad Pennington would still be the quarterback, and
his shoulder would be in great shape.
Well,
he'd throw just as hard as Brett Favre.
Funny Chad Pennington joke I read not too long ago was that if you ever got in a fight, if you're ever in a fight, you don't want to bring Chad Pennington, but if you did have Chad Pennington with you, he wouldn't hit you very, very hard, but it'd be accurate.
Yeah. So, someone pull the Indians off the Yankees right now. Holy crap. Just cut out of the corner of my eye. I thought I was still in like the NFL scores, and it was the MLB scores. It's 19-4 Cleveland right now in the 8th.
Christ,
23 hits.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm glad that Pro Wrestling Night was not tonight then, because that would be an interesting conversation with myself and Jerry Lawler, who's he and for those that don't know, I was the co-host of a Pro Wrestling Night locally here in Rochester, and Jerry the King Lawler, WWE and Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer, was the guest as well. And behind the scenes, backstage, we were watching baseball. He's a big, very, very big Cleveland Indians and Browns fan. And the Indians were, they're doing well, and they had caught up to the Twins. In fact, I think they're past the Twins now, if I'm not mistaken.
I still think they're behind them.
Are they behind them?
But yeah,
they were even with them a couple of days ago.
Yeah, they're still a half game behind Minnesota. Minnesota's winning 1-0 or winning 12-3 right now, so it's going to remain a half game.
But I let him know that I was a Yankees fan, and so we were kind of, it was cool to talk with. First of all, it was cool to talk with Jerry Lawler, but to talk with him about baseball, and him being who he is, I'm sure he's used to people, whether they're in the wrestling business or not, saying, "Oh my God, Jerry Lawler, can you tell me about this time in the ring and this time in the ring, this time in the ring?"
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, "How are your boys doing over there?" And just talking sports with him. The one thing that I have to admit did throw me off about Jerry Lawler is because everybody, in entertainment, you kind of have a stage voice, and you have a normal voice,
right.
You amplify a little bit. Like Steve Austin is Steve Austin, but when he gets on a microphone, he's Stone Cold Steve Austin, damn it.
Yeah.
But, off, the WWE cameras or whatever, he's he still sounds like Steve Austin, but he's much softer spoken. Jerry Lawler sounds literally exactly like he did on Monday nights with the headset on.
Yeah,
like all the time. It was freaking mind blowing. I wish I could have brought you. You back
like
there.
His old footage, like when he was on like Letterman and stuff, when he was doing the whole Andy Kaufman thing, like his voice was still the same. Like.
Yeah, it was, but like just hearing him talk about, like, so Cleveland was playing a doubleheader that day. I can't remember exactly who they were playing against, but in their second part of the doubleheader, they were starting all bullpen people because they were resting all of their, starting pitchers and whatever for the weekend series with the Twins, because it was a big series.
Yeah.
And I mean, when something wasn't going right, he was throwing out jabs just like, "Oh, look at that idiot right there. What's he doing?" Like, and I'm like, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, "Oh my God, this guy sounds just like he has the fucking headset on." Like, I almost wanted to throw a "by God" out there, but
right.
They're legit friends, so I can't, I don't want to mess with them that way. But it was cool to do that. But anyways, he was a big Indians fan, and I saw the Indians. We were watching that game, and they were doing very well. And I was like, I was thinking, Jesus, the Indians weren't a bad team to begin with, but now are they the team that's catching fire at the right time?
They are, and they're
clearly today, Jesus Christ. What did you say it was? How many runs?
19-4 right now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, going to the bottom of the 8th. And that's at Yankee Stadium too. Like, not like they're playing at the Jake and the home crowd is putting them over the top. Like,
Yankee Stadium is a hitter-friendly park.
Right.
So.
I understand that. What I'm saying is they don't have the home crowd behind them, the home cooking. Like, this is happening in New York. Like, it's got to be empty in there by now.
I gotta say though, speaking of the despite this game, did you see the stat that I posted earlier today about the season series with Baltimore?
Oh yeah, that's
how Baltimore like legitimately only won 2 games against them all season. Like, that's in baseball with as many games as is being played. Like, 5 to 6 games is low.
Well, can you imagine where New York was though? Like where New York would be right now if they didn't have Toronto and Baltimore to beat up on. I mean, just think if like Baltimore had won like 6 of those games,
right? And
Toronto wins 4 extra of their games because they have a really poor record against the Yankees too. They're tied with Tampa right now. Like, it's crazy how bad that division is at the bottom. Like,
yes,
they got 39 and 51 at the bottom. I mean, the Central's pretty bad too. You got 36 and 43 with the Tigers and Royals, but holy shit, like Baltimore is just. I mean, Baltimore's season was summed up in that one fucking play where the guy was diving for the ball and it hit him right in the fucking side of the head.
Yes.
I mean, that's Baltimore. I mean, they've got the worst run differential in the league, and they're barely ahead of the Tigers in that differential because the Tigers are also pretty miserable too. But
Yes,
the Tigers are in full rebuild mode and like they've sold off all their assets. Baltimore doesn't. They haven't had any assets for a long time.
Right.
They're at minus 243 right now.
How are the Twins doing right now?
The Twins are winning.
Oh, they're winning? Okay, so
12-3.
They'll still be a half game ahead of Cleveland.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. They're up 12-3 in Texas.
Sorry, Jerry Lawler. But anyways, that's all I got as far as sports and bullshit segment talk here.
Speaking of the Twins, though, man, holy shit.
What happened?
I didn't realize that Michael Pineda. Oh, I did realize that Michael Pineda was pitching for the Twins, but I hadn't seen him in person pitching for the Twins. That dude is a load. He's like he's on like the Bartolo Colon diet, man.
You know, I haven't. Honestly, I did not.
You can turn on the game now because he's still in the game. It's
really?
bottom 6. I think he's still in the game.
All right, let me
flip it on MLB.TV and go with the broadcast. I don't know if it's just the camera's unflattering, but I was watching it with Sean because Sean likes the Twins because of the Red Wings affiliation.
Yeah. Which incidentally I think is completely cool. I think it's totally cool.
Yeah, I'm cool with that too. I'm not cool with the.
It reminds me of the kids in our era when they grew up. You saw a lot of Baltimore Orioles fans.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I like the fact that with the Twins,
and his favorite player is Byron Buxton, and Buxton he's off the mound. They took him out. They put in a new pitcher.
Yeah, I just put it on now, and I just.
Well, you know what? Start the game over because you can watch the beginning of it and watch him pitch.
I'll catch up on Apple TV.
He is a load.
Wow.
Like I was looking at him, I was like, "Whoa, Michael Pineda used to be like fit and intimidating up there. Now you're like."
Well, he had that shoulder surgery,
man,
and then that was kind of it for him. I know that was what did it for the Yankees. I guess I didn't realize that he was even picked up by anybody, let alone the Twins.
Yeah, they were showing on like since July 1st, he's got like a 2.19 ERA, and he's like, he's basically throwing a quality start. He's had one bad start, and it was in his last 10 starts, and it was against Kansas City, where he gave up 8 hits, 5 runs. But everything else has been 3, 2, or 1. A lot of ones in his run in his last 10 starts. So he's been pitching really well for Minnesota.
All right.
ERA went down from 5.34 to 4.15.
Good play.
What are you watching? You still watching the Twins game? I switched back to the Giants.
I just happened to turn around and see the error at the first base. Not that it's going to matter anyways, but whatever. Anyways, all right. That's actually all I have. That's all I have for the podcast. So I think we'll safely wrap it up here and look forward to camp shenanigans. Sure,
there'll be many alcoholic beverages shared.
Perhaps some IG videos that
a lot of laughs. I'm sure are going to happen. I'm hoping for some weather and get some cornhole tournament going.
Yeah, buddy.
I got my new pens bags and board.
All right, very good. And yeah, that's really all it is. But so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put a nice shiny bow on this podcast and wrap it up here and let you know that next time we convene for the Listen In podcast, definitely before the NFL season starts, we will have our NFL season predictions as per norm, and I believe that may also be our 100th episode. I'm not sure, but I'll figure all that out. We're getting close. We are damn close to 100, Brandon. I've never hit 100 episodes before with anybody.
I'm gonna be doing my 100th show this coming up in 2 weeks.
That's right.
100th DMB show.
You're talking about the DMB show.
Yeah.
Yes. Really, only 100? I thought you've gone to like 7,000 of them.
No, just 100, man.
Okay, only 100, folks. It's okay. We've got a ways to go. But that's going to do it for the podcast. Thank you very much for listening in to us. And thanks for supporting our sponsors and affiliates on GearNetwork.com, ShopGear.com, of course, the easiest way to do it. But if you don't want to do the Amazon thing, underneath the Amazon link on GearNetwork.com, we have a PayPal. You can donate in any denomination. We would be very, very appreciative of that. Again, the next time we convene on this podcast, it will be the NFL preview edition. I already have mine. I'm sticking to my guns. I'll bring those up from the BLTD podcast, and I'll talk with Brandon about those. But Brandon's homework assignment between this podcast and next is he's going to do his predictions, and we're going to talk about that as well. So that's going to do it here. Brandon, let's do this again another week or two, shall we?
Absolutely, man.
All right. Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you as well.
So long, everybody. Good night now. Flavor Flav, you know what to do, my friend.
Yeah, boy! Remember to see more National Football League action next week.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.